Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the academic procession and the Chancellor.
I declare that the 587th Convocation of McMaster University for the Conferring of Degrees is now in session.
Please be seated. Good morning. I'm David Farrar, and I'm the Provost and Vice President Academic of the university. This morning I have the great pleasure of acting as your Master of Ceremony and of being the first to welcome you all to this convocation. I would like to start by recognizing and acknowledging that we meet today on the traditional territories of the Mississauga and the Haudenosaunee nations within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. I would also like to take this opportunity to acknowledge some of the leaders joining me on stage today. In the middle of the stage is our Chancellor, Dr. Suzanne Labarge, and to her right is our President and Vice Chancellor, Dr. Patrick Dean. To her left is the Vice President, University Advancement, Ms. Mary Williams, the Vice Provost and Dean of Graduate Studies, Dr. Doug Welch, and the Dean of the Faculty of Science, Dr. Maureen McDonald. We are joined on stage by several associate and assistant deans, directors, chairs, faculty members, and honored guests. Before we start the formal program, I would ask each of you in the hall to switch off any electronic devices you have that may beep or buzz during the ceremony. And I would like to call upon our Chancellor, Dr. Labarge, to make her welcoming remarks.
Welcome, honored guests, staff, faculty, family, friends, and most importantly, graduands. This is an exciting day for all of you who are graduating today, as well as for all those people who have supported you and stood behind you, and in many cases have had a key role in you being here today. You've achieved a great deal to get here, and you should all be very proud of your success and looking forward to what the future might bring. Congratulations, and enjoy the ceremony.
I would now like to invite the Dean of the Faculty of Science, Dr. Maureen McDonald, to make her welcoming remarks.
On behalf of the Faculty of Science, I welcome you to celebrate today the incredible achievements of the Faculty of Science class of 2018. In the invitation I received to speak today, I was told that this was my chance to highlight notable events or achievements in the Faculty of Science in the last year, and perhaps brag a little bit. While the list of things I could highlight is long and impressive, I actually only have one thing I want to brag about today. That is you, the 2018 graduates of the Faculty of Science. You are our most notable achievement. You are the embodiment of our collective goals. The mission statement of the Faculty of Science is to advance scientific discovery and knowledge and to promote scientific literacy and understanding in our community. In your time with us, you entrusted with us during your degrees the opportunity for us to equip you with the skills, knowledge, and experiences to move us forward on this lofty mission. Each of your assignment submissions, laboratory reports, scientific paper reviews, Friday morning quizzes, those of you who were in my anatomy class, early morning lectures, late night study sessions have all been building towards this point today when we are no longer preparing you for that mission, but now sending you out on a mission. As I watch your smiling faces and confident steps across the stage today, I know that you will achieve not only what we imagined and aspired to in our mission statement, but many things that we cannot even dream of. So as you go, know that the Faculty of Science is proud to have been a part of that journey and that we will always be here for you in mission control at McMaster University. Thank you.
I would now like to welcome Dr. Patrick Dean, our President and Vice Chancellor, to the podium, who will be presenting our honorary degree recipient.
Chancellor Labarge, by the authority of the Senate of McMaster University, I have the honor to present Michael Joyner. An internationally recognized clinician scientist at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, Michael Joyner has made immense contributions to the field of human integrative physiology through his 4-decade career. His laboratory explores how humans respond to various forms of physical and mental stress during activities, including exercise, hypoxia, standing, and blood loss. His research program spans the autonomic control of the cardiovascular and respiratory systems, blood flow regulation, oxygen transport and gas exchange, and exercise physiology. As a result, Dr. Joyner has influenced our understanding of blood pressure regulation, blood glucose regulation, breathing in heart failure, blood flow during exercise, the physiology of elite athletes, and the relationship of heart disease and cognitive impairment. Dr. Joyner has published more than 400 journal articles and has established a strong track record of academic leadership. His list of current responsibilities includes appointments with the Mayo Clinic's Department of Molecular Pharmacology and Experimental Therapeutics, the Department of Physiology and Biomedical Engineering, and the College of Medicine. He is the Frank R. and Shari Kaywood Professor in Anesthesiology and Vice Chair of Research for the Department of Anesthesiology and Perioperative Medicine. He is also a practicing anesthesiologist with an interest in blood substitutes, clinical transfusion practices, and preoperative surgical evaluation. A Mayo Clinic distinguished investigator, Dr. Joyner has delivered many prestigious lectures, including the American College of Sports Medicine's J.B. Wolfe Memorial Lecture, the American Physiological Society's Edward F. Adolph Distinguished Lecture, the American Society of Anesthesiologists Fair Honorary Research Lecture, and the Michael de Burgh Daily Prize Lecture of the Physiological Society of the United Kingdom. His list of awards received includes the Bodil M. Schmidt-Nielsen Distinguished Mentor and Scientist Award, and the Mayo Medical School Excellence in Teaching Award. With current or previous editorial positions with 8 scholarly journals, Dr. Joyner has also served as a trustee of the American College of Sports Medicine and on a long list of advisory boards and committees for organizations ranging from the National Institutes of Health to NASA. Dr. Joyner has worked hard to take his expertise beyond the scholarly community by writing informative and op-ed pieces for major media outlets, including the New York Times, Sports Illustrated, Outside Magazine, and the New York Times Well blog. His own blog, Human Limits, translates the science of exercise for thousands of subscribers. Chancellor Labarge, today we introduce Michael Joyner to the McMaster family here at Convocation, and I ask that you recognize his accomplishments as a scientist, a clinician, a teacher, and an academic leader by conferring upon Dr. Joyner the degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
Michael Joyner, by the authority of McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to confer upon you the degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa in McMaster University with all of the rights and privileges pertaining to that degree. Congratulations. I would now like to invite Dr. Joyner to deliver the Convocation Address.
Madam Chancellor, President Dean, honored guest, family and friends. First, I want to congratulate the graduates. Second, I want to thank the university for inviting me. It is truly a great honor. I was planning to remind the graduates that at least some of you will see the clock strike January 1st, 2100. I was then going to catalog the many challenges that await you over the next 81 and a half years. Next, we were going to play some buzzword bingo with catchy phrases like artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, blockchain, and so forth to describe how you might solve these problems. Finally, we would switch gears and discuss how a lot of technology is overrated and simple solutions are sometimes underrated. To make a few key points, I was going to highlight what I call high concept but low tech solutions, simple things that make a big difference. For example, earlier versions of this dog ball thrower were used by our ancestors as spear throwers to hunt big game like mammoths. Anybody know what this is? It's a slide rule. With a slide rule and no electronics, you can do the math needed to split the atom and go to the moon. My next prop is this. Everybody knows what this is. It's a smartphone. This is great for getting movie tickets, retreating into a bubble, giving up your privacy, and enabling various turnkey totalitarians that are out there. However, I don't think you can kill a mammoth with one of these. To make sure this talk was a success, I invited a well-known Canadian writer to the talk from Toronto, figuring he could help me get some coverage in the big media outlets, or maybe even get on the CBC. I mean, if a famous professor in Toronto can explain why some men are knuckleheads based on the behavior of lobsters, I figured the world, according to Mike Joyner, might be of interest to somebody. And also, I figured if I said enough outrageous or truly interesting things, I might even make it to Don Cherry. I next showed a draft of my remarks to some of my senior friends, other faculty, and so forth, and they said, hey, this is great. Go for it. Then I showed a draft to my wife and daughters who thought it sucked. And they encouraged me to share a more personal story about how I ended up on this stage getting a big award from a very prestigious university. Then I had an unprecedented attack of modesty and shyness about oversharing. And I figured I might make some general comments and counterintuitive observations that would be useful to you about success and also what works. So I can't see everybody here, but I'll believe you'll raise your hands. How many of the graduates have been encouraged to be well-rounded? Raise your hand. Everybody's got their hand up. Well, don't buy it. The dangers of being well-rounded are well-known. No sharp edges to cut through the BS of life, excelling at nothing, not knowing the combination of joy and terror that comes when you wake up in the morning with your hair on fire about something that really excites you. And you can see I've passed the hair on fire test. A second related point here is how many people have ever asked themselves, what should I stop doing? If you want to avoid being well-rounded, which I would encourage you to do, you need to avoid distraction, avoid saying less to a lot of things, and avoid the temptation to just go get another gold star for compliance. There are a lot of distractions and pressures out there in the real world, but remember, to be a maximalist, you must first be a minimalist. The third thing I want to tell you is something I've learned as an athlete in my younger days and also somebody who studies human performance, and that is that recovery matters. Overtraining and burnout are insidious enemies. However, this does not mean do nothing. It does mean engaging what the trainers and coaches call active rest. Go for a walk, find some mildly challenging brain candy activities to do, cultivate a social life and a real in-the-flesh social network. I mentioned my wife and daughters earlier, and they are much better with the real in-the-flesh social network aspects of life than I am. And my wife frequently reminds me that no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Now, to zoom out a bit, my fourth point is to avoid buying into simple explanations for complex problems, but paradoxically seek simple solutions. For example, we live in a world where it is possible to get lots of genetic information about people, and the temptation is to say there are genes for intelligence, obesity, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, you name it. In almost every case, these genes have tiny effect sizes and can be overridden by simple solutions related to our environment and behavior. Specifically, current research shows that on average, no more than 20% of our overall lifetime health is dictated by our genes, but 80% is dictated by environmental factors and a few simple behaviors: exercise, eating well, challenging our minds, avoiding substance abuse, and so forth. As an example of a simple solution, I brought this 46-year-old jump rope that my mother gave me when I was 14 years old for my birthday in 1972. You can see it's curled up, but you'll believe it's a jump rope. This jump rope helped me become a pretty good basketball player, and now I use it to exercise anywhere in the world and to avoid getting uncoordinated as I age. Jumping rope also dramatically reduces my risk of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and believe it or not, cancer. Now, if we zoom out a bit more, you realize that high concept but low tech simple solutions like sanitation and public health, universal literacy and education, political liberty and the extension of democracy and civil rights to more people, and high levels of personal and collective responsibility have increased life expectancy in rich countries like Canada over the last 150 years. Life expectancy has gone from about 40 years to about 80 years. And a reasonable estimate is 35 of that 40-year increase is due to the simple observations or simple solutions I just outlined a few minutes ago. So based on these observations, I'm pretty confident that whatever challenges arise between now and 2100, at both the individual and societal level, that high concept but low tech solutions will matter more than ever. So as you get your degree today and as you leave this place, I want to again encourage you to avoid the temptation to become well-rounded. I want you to ask yourself at regular intervals what you can stop doing. I want you to master active rest, and I want you to be skeptical of simple narratives for complex problems, but search for simple solutions to those problems. So therefore, as you leave this graduation ceremony, this commencement ceremony, I urge you to go forth and be simple. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joyner. I was afraid there for a moment he was going to hand me the skipping rope to use across the stage. But I think his message was just so well formulated. I mean, here is somebody who is absolutely outstanding in his field, and we're so delighted to be able to honor him for that, but who can take the concepts, explain them to us, and also give you some very clear messages about how you can use your knowledge in the future. And for that, we thank him enormously and are delighted to be able to welcome him to the alumni of McMaster University.
Dr. Dean will now come forward to present the graduands to the Chancellor for admission to their degrees.
Will the graduates please stand? Madam Chancellor, on behalf of McMaster University Senate, I present to you these candidates and those in absentia in order that you may confer the appropriate degrees upon them, and I bear witness that they are worthy and suitable.
Graduands, by my authority and that of the McMaster University Senate, I have the great pleasure to admit those before me today and those in absentia to their individual degrees at McMaster University with all of the rights and privileges pertaining to those degrees. My sincere congratulations to you all. Please be seated.
Graduates, I will now ask each of you to join me on stage so that the Chancellor and I may welcome you to the McMaster community of scholars.
Ladies and gentlemen, so that each graduate's name may be heard, it would be appreciated if, during the presentation of the graduands, you would hold your collective applause to the end of each degree category. Thank you. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Doctor of Philosophy. Kelly Whaley Martin. Sarah King Dowling. Ninette Shanuda. Christopher Swogotsky. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Master of Science. Renad Oljahani. Alisa Gomes. Chris Hughes. Winnie May Chan. Alicia Nicole Yazvitz. Selena Churro. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Applied Science Honours. Victoria Emmanuel. Rebecca Jane Gallant. Timothy Hewitson. Jing Yung Hu. Stephanie Alicia Hutton. Teresa Melinda Maybury. Melanie Audrey Saija. Sydney Taylor. Thasika Famabala. Leanne Margot Yanchis. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Science Honours. Carla Abawag. Ali Nehad Abu Helal. Rachel Adcock. Ashley Ann Adil. Sarah Afzal. Michael Aiken. Momina Ali. Jessica Yasmin Amin. Sinuri Mithma Aponso. Kion Ababi. Taha Arshad. Sukhveshjit Singh Aulach. Ashley Avarino. Omar Mirza Baig. Matthew Thomas Bain. Morgan Claire Baker. Sabahat Balaban. Samantha de Medeiros Barbosa. Chanchal Bandari. Jasmine Kaur Bhatti. Roheen Bhatti. Shagufta Bibi. Sukhana Bindra. Felicia Stephanie Binotto. Daniel Benjamin Brode Borinch. Katerina Borisov. Mark Mitchell Borthwick. Michaela Bubna. Mohammed Yamin Butt. Amy Kathleen Calovini. Marianne Nicole Kalrori. Andrew Wenhao Chow. Kristen Nicole Carson. Manpreet Singh Chahal. Virginia Chambers. Christian Chan. Debbie Chan. Joyce Wing Yan Chan. Mary Chang. Yvonne Yu Fong Chang. Juliana Charles. Preet Chatta. Tanuka Chatterjee. Zinra Khalid Chatta. Kevin Jeffrey Chow. Mitali Chowdhury. Yuk Kwan Chen. Jethro Chun Ho Cheng. Pui Lee Chen. Nina Chu. Geon Hyung Choi. Joseph Chon. Mavra Chowdhury. Matilda Jing Chow. Amanda Margarita Chinarari. Alexander Vivian Clarizio. Carly Clark. Kevin Clifford. Hannah Emily Clyde. Jennifer Rose Collingswood. Angela Chorich. John Michael Cruz. Grishma Dabas. Matej Alexandru Dan Dobre. Manpreet Kaur Dang. Patrick Williams Dans. Daniel Dewey Dow. Biren Dave. Carl Anthony de la Lagas. Stefan Di Micino. Jamala Serrano del Rosario. Amanda Diane Demick. Ria Jayesh Desai. Alicia Di Carlo. Ruben Aaron Duma. Suzanne Obeya Ayag Benin. Batul El Saya. Enis El Hamed. Claire Madison Elliott. Christina Epifano. Natalie Patrice Ewers. Joanna Faltin. Yu Ying Fan. Aisha Farouk. Andrew Lewis Lombard Fencham. Sarah Angelique Feta. Lisbeth Sarah Francis. Victoria Geropoulos. Rana Gaufori Azar. Alisa Alexandra Gianotti. Daniela Marie Giardetti. Elizabeth Louise Goldie. Xiongqing Gong. Mary Asako Greaves. Joelle Lynn Gueco. Fatima Zora Gendos. Kerolos Hannah. Reem Hashem. Yusra Hassan. Danielle Anna Henry. Gabrielle Herman. Lydia Hicks. Alana Hilmer. Lamia Farouz Hussain. Danielle Hudson. Claire Hewson. Jason Yu Sheng Hung. Rebecca Elizabeth Hunter. Krista Leah Latropoulos. Tanitoloa Imasogi. Rachel Marie Imbronio. Shatha Jabba. Michaela Ruth James. Ji Hai Jun. Zi Yue Zhang. Laura Yan Jin. Joseph Dean Jodouin. Kunj Kalpeshpai Joshi. David Kalambet. Emily Kaunismar. Vijan Kayashta. James Robert Kazimovich. Megan Elizabeth Kelly. Mona Khalid. Asad Masood Khan. Tanishka Ravi Khair. Anisha Khosla. Jinhyun Esther Kim. Nuri Kim. Elizabeth Kitching. Vikas Kohli. Dominika Kovalyava. Mackenzie Lorraine Kretz. Anna-Marie Kulesha. Nikhil Suresh Kumar. Sami Kurani. Marisa Kwan. Anderson Lai. Joyce Lam. Christina Lam. William Giancarlo Giovanni Lancia Gillespie. Maria Dorothy Lapierre. Andriane Lavoie. Dylan Law. Timothy Law. David Ming Tree Lei. Natasha Nicole Ledbetter. Chan Lee. Jessica Jion Lee. Lucia Lee. Sean Leapy. Alisa Vega Lemaire. Yonit Levin. Emily Lillian Linschoten. Cassandra Litvinchuk. Michelle Lowe. Michelle Elizabeth Lowbeeler. Vanessa Maria Lombardo. Maria de Los Angeles Lopez Ricote. Grace Liu. Jessie Liu. Hannah Nicole Ludwig. Ashley Lum. Hoitian Lu. Linda Lu. Stephanie Lee. Matthew Maialoni. Atharai Maran. Talia Christine Marshall. Sinisa Martinovic. Negian Mashayeki. Matthew Sterling McAllister. Rachel Ann Medved. Mira Mahmeta. Brianna Alexia Mekle. Natalia Milkova. Shiyun Mo. Ronak Moftakan. Hasiba Fatima Mohammed. Isi Molanji. Vernon Leander Montero. Emily Alexandra Shao Moon. Eden Elise Morrissey. Jessica Murray. Haja Nakua. Daniel Napierski. Suzanne Garke Naro. Keanu Nasrallah. Dalia Nasser. Denise Nguyen. Mickey Tran Nguyen. Randy Nguyen. V.I. Nguyen. Ashley Du Nan. Maria Nakula. Kamal Noor. Bronwyn A. Novak. Garrett McGregor Nunn. Jessica Ostrega. Balpreet Kaur Panese. Dale Mitchell Parker. Nekha Parma. Sudip Patel. Arthur Jacob Patterson. Imasha Pereira. Rebecca Susan Persaud. Chandler Podhorodesky. Simon Michael Pollard. Hannah Jean Elizabeth Ponsonby. Scott Portinga. Anna Lucia Portillo. Amanda Francis Poxon. Victoria Rose Prop. Avi Protaccio. Vagisha Pruthi. Kiran Punya. Mishal Ahmed Kazi. Rochang Shu. Tara Lynn Quigley. Maria Radenovic. Reginald Moses Reyes Ragos. Shira Rahim. Leanne Alice Ralph. Amira Binti Rashid. Kumal Rashid. Ramanan Radhakrishnan. Shanthika Ravindran. Harish Ravisangar. Kate Elizabeth Raymond. Emily Rayner. Samra Rehman. Alexandra Mary Richard. Sebastian Richter. Victoria Dawn Rogers. Eduardo Andrés José Royas. Shelley Ming-Chue Rottenberg. Eric Anthony Rushton. Xenia Rybkina. Alexandra Sacco. Ibjot Singh Sagal. Nirop Saha. Krista Lauren Solanki. Matthew George Salina. And Alice Erica Sander. Karina Savitsky Vrajsk. Maijuri Selva Kuma Rasingam. Alicia Serrano. Guillaume Serwe. Alina Shahid. Naman Shanish Chara. Matthew James Shannon. Ananya Sharma. Chatan Sharma. Manling Shi. Hassan Siddiqui. Vivian Tia Nguyen Sim. Bhavya Singh. Jaspuneet Singh. Simran Kaur Singh. Yodika Singh. Gayacha Shivaratnam. Stephanie Rose Scans. Austin Daniel Solak. Indika Somir. Chenwin Song. Joshua Speaksma. Natalie Renata Stearns. Anna Maria Subic. Sofia Sugamur. Rui Sun. Sunit Sundar. Daniel Emmanuel Sutanto. Shabanul Saeed. Nicole Elizabeth Sabo. Sanduni Taruka Talagala. Gillian Emiko Margaret Tanabe. Katerina Tatomir. Anna Arif Teia. Danny Tai. Akranan Teavindrandiran. Ryan Threndile. Megan Elizabeth Tooby. Jennifer Ving Hang Tran. Natalie Tran. Nicholas Onsui. Rahi Turab. Solomia Turchin. Morgana Ray Ferguson Turner. Samantha Marie Turner. Ina Ushkatz. Shian van Heer. Victoria Adriana van Merlo. Caitlin Taylor Vance. Gregory Gerard Vandenberg. Sean Mark van der Sluis. Nina Elisa Vara. Kyle Francis Tan Velayo. Evelina Vilikova. Abhilasha Vermani. Keshani Vima Lendran. Matthew Damon Walker. Jordan Laurie Reed Walton. Peter Wong. Jane Wang. Aliana Kathleen Weavers. Shanice Nicole White. Rachel Whitaker. Sarah Kayana Williams. Taylor Lynn Wiseman. Joshua Tolson Wong. Jun J. Aaron Wong. Catherine Wong. Hujie Shu. Yichen Shu. Isaac Yellen. Erica Yeo. Samson Young. Megan Yim. Run Yang Yin. Yulika Yoshida Montezuma. Jing Nan Yu. Rahoma Zakir. Chris Zhang. Si Jin Zhang. Corina Chen Zhao. Bingjie Zhu. Alison Zielinski. David Zilke. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Science Kinesiology Honours. Zoe Abbott-Tate. Shams Abdul Khalik. Rochelle Alexander. Siobhan Alexander. Mishira Anamika. Asfia Arif. Kara Joy Adin. Ravninda Banival. Shuyin Bai. Liam Baker. Justice Shefnel Stephen Bellet. Natasha Ben. Megan Elizabeth Bittner. Bianca Anna Marie Brown. Samantha Nicole Bubnich. Julia Silvia Buffone. Ali Butt. Saif Butt. Sabrina May Campbell. Isabella Marie Chelotto. Alice Chan. Natalie Chan. Natalie Hai Yu Chan. Lauren Brooke Chesney. Lovisa Cheung. Andrew James Chu. Kyle Matthew Victor Chung. Richard Fernando Cuela. Victoria Norma Irene Cullen. Rachel Kyla Darcy. Georgia Dabich. Sabrina Ismat Dasuki. Harmandeep Singh Dhaliwal. Kamalpreet Dillon. Bethany Ann Dickow. Victoria Jubanova. Amelia Gwendolyn Edmonds. Malak El Hosseini. Jane Catherine Emblem. Katrina Lynn Fackelman. Elisa Victoria Fan. Delaney Ann Forsyth. Stefan Anthony Fortino. Molly Elizabeth Gearin. Caitlin Alexandra Genevieve. Carlene Vanessa Ginter. Liana Adelaide Giovini. Eden Naomi Graham. Marko Grachowacz. Miranda Jingjing Go. Manisha Kaur Hansra. Sierra Brianne Healy. Olivia Hinks Russell. Jessica Victoria Holland. Hannah Louise Hopper. Nemanja Ilic. Sava Ivošević. Alana Yakovlevich. Hien Jung. Mackenzie Alexis Florindo Jones. Andrew Joseph. Brina Kagawa Vicentin. Michael Kamal. Jasmine Karimi. Irfan Islam Khan. Lamisha Kandaka. Jordan Kilpatrick Smith. Melissa Ann King. Jean-Luc Kresic. Thivisa Krishna Kumaran. Sunket Kulkarni. Patricia Kwan. Eliam Lam. Sarah Lam. Alexander Lee. Tana Letke. Mark Leclerc. Jeannie Yuen Ching Lee. Hayden Andy Ling. Man Wei Liu. Haris Lutwitzer. Bran Liu. Selvia Magarios. Claudia Sin-Yu Mak. Haley Malcolm Zielke. Danielle John Morello. Caitlin Elizabeth Marshall. Samantha Marie Martin. Krista Hope Martins. Chelsea Quinn Masterman. Anne-Marie Celine Matthew. Jessica McGrath. Megan Grace Mead. Isfanja Memon. Divya Sarah Mendonça. Karolina Michalowski. Andrew I. Michael. Yasmin Naim Minawi. Naomi Stephanie Miskita. Amina Mohammed. Ismail Yahia Mohammed. Zachary Peter Moll. Jessica Marie Morris. Kevin Thomas Murphy. Leah Nicole Nairn. Christine Maria Nazareth. Alicia Susanna Newman. Kenneth Shinkichi Noguchi. Mareilly Nordberg. Rachel Haley O'Connor. Amanda Okanovich. James Orton. Camille Jose Hualet Borza. Kevin Patel. J. Bryant Payton. Jacob Pero. Natalie Juliana Petsina. Rianne Federica Perinpana Yagam. Nicole Marie Pinkowski. Thalia Marie Pisaric. Jinan Mohammed Rabah. Sana Mohammed Rabah. Shari Rahman. Zalma Rahmanya. Madison Claire Ranger. Evan Llewellyn Roberts. Alex Stewart Robertson. Stephanie Ruggiero. Daniela Palmira Russo. Jessica Sadri Guerrior. Quinn Bradley Arnold Sallows. Gillian Ann Scandifio. Alison Mary Schweitzer. Michael Anton Sekenda. Maham Shahid. Farouk Hussain Sheikh. Mohit Sharma. Tagir Singh Sidhu. Ashmira Shri Dharan. Nicholas Joseph Steiner. Brianna Elizabeth Tam. Michelle Tan. Shagana Tangaraja. Emily Marie Tanti. Sabrina Tenalia. Joanne Tai. Sydney Quinn Thomas. James Patrick Thomas. Jacqueline Tin Lok Tien. Thomas Tripp. Long Yin Ronnie, C. Kiara Bryn Valencia Hines. Carla Jeneth Villastegui. Jessica Vickard. Lindsay Bernice Weber. Taylor Ann Wilkins. Megan Elizabeth Wilson. Andrew Wong. Max Xia. Jessica Jung. Brian Jeng. Alison Zorzit. Catherine Brianna Zutaitis. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduate of the degree Bachelor of Science Kinesiology. Brittany French. Madam Chancellor, may I present to you the following graduates of the degree Bachelor of Science. Thomas Lee Jones Henley. Ian Lawrence McIntyre. Yidong Tan. Shijie Zhu. Is that it? Good. All right, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give one more round of applause to all our newest graduates. I would now like to introduce Ms. Taylor Wilkins, a graduate of the degree Bachelor of Science Kinesiology Honors, who will be delivering the Valedictory Address.
President Dean, Chancellor Labarge, Provost Farrar, Dean McDonald, distinguished faculty and alumni, family and friends, and above all, graduates. Good morning. My name is Taylor Wilkins, and I, like you, am graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree today. I'm really excited to update the credentials in my email signature when I get home. It is a great honor to be representing the Faculty of Science and the Department of Kinesiology at such a special occasion. In the days leading up to the beginning of my university experience, a good family friend visited me and said, "Taylor, your years at McMaster will be some of the best. Oh, and don't stress too much if your marks drop in first year. 80% is good enough." Considering our first year course load, 80% would have been great. Now, while my family friend didn't quite prepare me for the nature of first year academics, she was right about the other thing. Our years at McMaster would be some of the best. After only a few days on campus, many of us found ourselves amongst a sea of new faces wearing colorful Welcome Week shirts. In sweltering heat, we stood shoulder to shoulder with our hands in the air for our coveted Class of 2018 aerial picture. Names, salmon handshakes, and jellyfish hugs were exchanged. Laughter was shared, and we were left feeling a little less apprehensive about our first week of classes. Moments like these reflected the beginnings of the cohesive, connected community that we would become over the next 4 years. As such a community, we have created, we have led, and we have fostered an unparalleled energy that is evident within our faculty. Whether you dedicated your time to research, theater, athletics, or relied on no lunch money alerts for food for a whole week during exams. Whether you held a position on a student society, assembly, or union, joined a club, or got to know the Thode Library custodians really, really well. Whether you shared ideas, challenged boundaries, or woke at 9 a.m. for an 8:30 a.m. chemistry lab, twice. Your initiative, passion, and unwavering devotion to our esteemed institution and surrounding communities is to be recognized and celebrated. I invite you to take time to reflect on who you were in your first few moments as a Marauder. Appreciate how you've grown through your many experiences and the people who've helped you to do so along the way. Many of those people are here with you today. Whether your undergraduate journey was as bumpy as Main Street was last term, or as smooth as you hoped it would be, you each have every reason to be tremendously proud of yourselves. To close, I will leave you with some advice my dad once shared with me as he sifted through the bushes for yet another of his lost golf balls. My dad said, "If you don't go off course, you'll never find your lost golf ball." He then proceeded to toss about a half a dozen golf balls to me from the tree line. Now, whether my dad was simply referring to golf with this statement or to life in general, I'm not quite sure. In any case, I would like to share with you my interpretation of his message, as I believe it applies to us as we move forward. Graduates, don't be afraid to go off course. Remain open to experience, welcome spontaneity, and be curious. It's true that today our many hours of hard work have finally paid off, but I hope that you continue to work hard, to challenge yourselves, and to make a difference in the lives of those around you, just as you have in your time as a Marauder. I'm so proud to have walked our campus alongside each of you for the last 4 years, and I sincerely hope that you enjoy the adventures that lie ahead. Thank you, and congratulations, class of 2018. Our years at McMaster were some of the best.
Thank you, Taylor. I now call upon our president, Dr. Dean, who will present the President's Award for Outstanding Contributions to Teaching and Learning.
Would Dr. Aisha Khan please come forward? Dr. Aisha Khan has reimagined the goals of science education at McMaster University. In her basic and clinical neuroscience course, students build knowledge about concepts in neuroscience and then think about how they can use this knowledge and how an understanding of the human brain might impact their interactions. Through her Mac Engaged initiative, Dr. Khan invites students to be dynamic and reflective citizens within their own communities, asking them to think about the impact of science on society and to consider their responsibility to effect change. Mac Engaged principles have been adopted by other faculty in science and are informing forward-thinking and innovative curricula in the School of Interdisciplinary Science. Student reflection, self-awareness, and self-advocacy are essential elements of Dr. Khan's philosophy of teaching and learning. She encourages learning portfolios that invite students to self-identify their strengths and build upon them, provides diverse opportunities for mentorship and leadership development, and tackles challenges in science communication around issues of sexual identity and reproductive rights. She does not shy away from challenging her students, but also provides an environment that empowers and supports student growth. Dr. Khan believes in the importance of giving her students the opportunity to demonstrate leadership and gain self-confidence by engaging in non-traditional classroom activities that allow them to develop transferable skills and engage in critical thinking and analysis. In addition to empowering her students to learn effectively, she also strives to cultivate a culture of community within the classroom and to engage students in reflecting upon how their actions impact the lives of others and how they might enact positive change. Dr. Khan's pedagogical style and approach has had a profound and a positive impact on those she teaches. In the words of one student, "Such a meaningful and life-changing learning experience would have been impossible without Dr. Khan's support and guidance throughout the term. She paid close attention to the learning and growth of each individual student and was always there when the barriers seemed insurmountable. She inspired the whole class to grow as students and collaborators and opened our eyes to the potential impact we could have." Aisha Khan's dedication to her students, her ability to inspire a passion for learning, and her commitment to connecting science education with the broader community make her an extremely deserving recipient of the 2018 President's Award for Outstanding Contributions to Teaching and Learning. Congratulations, Dr. Khan. Thank you. Fantastic.
Congratulations, Dr. Khan. I now introduce Corey Healy-Masters, a graduate from the Bachelor of Science Kinesiology class of 2015 and a representative of the McMaster Alumni Association. Corey will now deliver the Alumni Association address.
Thank you. Chancellor Labarge, President Dean, award winners, honorees, faculty members, fellow alumni, guests, and especially members of the class of 2018. Congratulations. Convocation. If this ceremony could talk, it might tell you your life is changing. So come take part in this ancient ritual, and then afterwards take pictures with your parents in a gown that you borrowed backstage. Crossing this stage marks one of the most significant changes in your life. You're moving from your career as a student to a career as a professional, or from being an undergraduate to being a graduate student. Or you're going to trade your goals and routines of university for something more personal. We all experience the graduation transition in our own way, and I can assure you there are many more transitions ahead of you as you move through the next stages of your life. Now, what won't change is that your experience earning your degree will always be a part of you, and you will always be a part of this community. At times, that connection will feel strong, and other times it will take a graceful backseat to other priorities. But when you do want to turn that lifelong relationship into an activity, a digital connection, volunteering, or any of the other dozens of opportunities, the McMaster Alumni Association will be there for you. That's our job. You can read about your alma mater, your fellow alumni and classmates in MAC, the news magazine for alumni, either in print or digitally, or through our monthly newsletter, Maroon Mail. You can be a part of the MAC alumni communities on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and we're still holding out for Vine too. And if you really like sharing news and bragging to your friends about great things happening in McMaster, join our team of social ambassadors called Social Marauders. And we'll thank you with some great little swag, because your life can always use a little bit more maroon. If you've chosen to continue calling this great city home, I'd encourage you to participate in our MAC 10 events. This series of events and services include career assistance, mentoring, online and in-person networking, and great socials designed specifically for grads like you. If you find yourself living far from McMaster, keep an eye out on the events calendar, as we do try to make our way to all corners of the globe from time to time. When you leave here today, I know it's possible that nothing I've just said will stick with you, and that's fine. It hurts, but it's fine. The association has just sent you an email and with a fun little quiz reflecting on your university years. And yes, you get marks for participation if you take it first thing Friday morning. When you do the quiz, take a moment to have a look around the website, alumni.mcmaster.ca. And I'm guessing you'll be surprised at how much is available to you now as a new grad and throughout your life. So whenever it is that you're ready to connect, we'll be here. Members of the class of 2018, my sincerest congratulations on your convocation and welcome to the McMaster Alumni Association. We are very proud indeed to have you join the Mac family. Congratulations.
Thanks, Corey. I now invite Dr. Dean back to the podium to deliver his President's Address.
Madam Chancellor, Dr. Joyner, distinguished colleagues, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. Convocation, one often points out on occasions like this, is a communal event, a calling together of the different members and constituencies of the university family for the purpose of celebrating both individual achievements and our shared vision and mission. In a public institution like McMaster, where the education provided to students is very clearly understood to be both an individual and a social benefit, speakers like myself tend to address themselves to the balance that all of you, our graduates, are expected to strike in the lives you will live beyond today's ceremony. In one form or another, the advice you're typically given is this: seek personal fulfillment and success, but never forget your obligation to serve the greater good. Now, in such a context, you're unlikely to hear anyone celebrating the virtues of ambition, a human attribute our culture on the whole regards with suspicion, because we associate it with selfish, indeed sometimes anti-social attitudes. We talk of someone displaying naked ambition, meaning ambition unmediated, uncontrolled, and not linked to a purpose beyond itself. This is the kind of ambition Shakespeare was thinking about in his play Macbeth. I expect many of you know the plot of that tragedy. Macbeth is a Scottish general whose ambition is kindled by a group of witches who predict that he will one day become King of Scotland. He becomes consumed with ambition, plots to murder the king, and pondering that course of action, utters these famous lines: "I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which o'erleaps itself and falls on the other side." My daughter, who's now in her 30s, has spent her life riding horses, so I'm well trained to identify that as an equestrian metaphor. A rider, properly in control of their horse, pricks the sides of the animal with their spurs to initiate a jump. The point of Macbeth's surprisingly candid observation is that there's no particular goal spurring him on, nothing other than vaulting ambition, or the desire simply to jump, with no regard for the point of doing it. His, in other words, is selfish, self-referential, or uncontrolled ambition, which he acknowledges gets easily out of control. It o'erleaps itself, as he says, and can end in confusion or disaster, as indeed it did for him, who in one film version at least wound up with his head on a spike as a lesson to others. So that's why people are wary of making ambition a theme for convocation speeches. At the same time, though, it is important to acknowledge that ambition in some form must play an important role in the work of universities and the lives of the people who comprise them, whether students, faculty, staff, or alumni. For example, you're all here today celebrating your graduation because you've aspired to achieve this goal. Each of you knows how much hard work has brought you here, and I hope that you're right now experiencing the pleasure of personal ambitions legitimately fulfilled. And if you're not quite sure what comes next for you, that's fine and understandable, and it's certainly not an indication that your ambition has o'erleapt itself. The desire for knowledge, understanding, and enlightenment is always a sufficient spur to action. It is ambition of a very pure and admirable kind. But many of you have greater and more concrete ambitions than this, I know. That is one of the things that make universities such wonderful places to work. While they exist because of ambition, in a sense, because of our determination to know and to understand our world, they nourish our imaginations and they fuel our even greater aspirations. And by doing that, they prompt us to identify even more challenging goals for ourselves and for our society at large. Universities are places, in other words, in which the innocent and not so innocent ambition of individuals can and should be channeled for the betterment of our society and the better understanding of our world. In 1918, the British philosopher Bertrand Russell, for whose archives, as some of you may know, McMaster provides a home, was about to be imprisoned for his pacifist activities. Pondering proposed roads to freedom, he wrote this: "While the great majority of men and women in ordinary times pass through life without ever contemplating or criticizing either their own conditions or those of the world at large, a certain percentage, guided by personal ambition, make the effort of thought and will which is necessary to place themselves among the more fortunate members of the community. But very few among these are seriously concerned to secure for all the advantages which they seek for themselves. It is only a few rare and exceptional men and women who have that kind of love toward mankind at large that makes them unable to endure patiently the general mass of evil and suffering, regardless of any relation it may have to their own lives." In this passage, Russell admirably describes the way in which that always slightly ambivalent thing, personal ambition, is transmogrified in some people into unambiguous good. As some seek to secure for all the advantages which they seek also for themselves, ambition for the self turns into ambition for the greater good of society. Speaking at Northwestern University almost exactly 12 years ago, at an event just like this one, Barack Obama remarked on a certain poverty to be found in ambition for the self, because paradoxically, ambition for the self asks too little of the self. And this is what he said: "It is only when you hitch your wagon to something larger than yourself that you realize your true potential." Obama's point was partly that personal ambition is not necessarily incompatible with an altruistic social vision. Indeed, that the latter is frequently an extension and a fulfillment of the former. All of this is to acknowledge that while our society is nervous about ambition, as well it should be given certain recent developments on the world stage, humanity will go nowhere without it. And we must continually find positive, constructive ways to stimulate it, to articulate it, and to direct it. As graduates of McMaster, you are the beneficiaries of 130 years of positive ambition. What an effort of thought and will went into the opening of the McMaster Medical School in 1970, the construction of the McMaster nuclear reactor in 1957, the establishment of the McMaster Museum of Art, the invention on our campus of problem-based learning, the founding of numerous world-class McMaster Research Institutes, not to mention the science and art of discovery as practiced in labs and in classrooms across the campus every day. The Bertrand Russell Archive, which I mentioned earlier, is also evidence of the ambitious spirit that seems always to have been at work at McMaster, that the papers of this major British figure would end up in Hamilton, Ontario in 1968 seemed unimaginable to everyone in Britain, but it did not seem unimaginable to the McMaster librarian, Dr. Will Reedy, and to my predecessor, Dr. Harry Thode, both of whom had the highest possible aspirations for McMaster as a center for scholarship and made it their goal to bring the archives here. This year, McMaster has been acknowledged as the most research-intensive university in Canada. For the second year in a row, we are a finalist institution for the Global Teaching Excellence Award offered by the Higher Education Academy and Times Higher Education in London, England. McMaster rose to 66th place in the academic ranking of world universities and was up 35 places at 78th position in the Times Higher Education World Rankings. To put that in context, given that there are more than 18,000 universities in the world, that means that you are all graduating from an institution in the top half of 1% globally. You could not have made it here without ambition. And McMaster could not have achieved that kind of standing without generations of effort, thought, and will, and a determination to pursue and to achieve the highest goals possible. Anyone who has walked across the McMaster campus during the past year will know that the goal on which we've most recently focused our ambition, the achievement of a brighter world through education, research, and engagement with our community, whether you define it globally or locally, that is the new focus. But in many ways, there's nothing new about that as the focus of our university's aspirations. Ever since our founding in 1887, the mission of this university has been to serve society by contributing to the advancement and application of cutting-edge science, by deepening our understanding of society and culture, and by fostering and celebrating creativity. Pursuing the highest possible standards in each of those areas is what has brought us to our current standing in Canada and the world. But is the pursuit of excellence in and for itself sufficient justification for the investment which society makes in institutions like ours? To some extent, it is. It must be. But if we go back to that passage from Macbeth, we will remember that there are certain dangers in a self-justifying, vaulting ambition. What was missing in the case of Macbeth's ambition was a spur to prick the intent, a motive, an incentive, a well-articulated goal. Those brighter world banners everywhere to be seen on our campus are intended to remind us that all the work that goes on in the university, teaching, learning, research, creation, innovation, is ultimately done in service of a goal. And that goal is the realization of a world that is healthier, happier, more just and equitable, more peaceful, better informed, better at balancing human needs with those of the planet, and richly creative. The university is in it, as they say, for the long haul, because it is obvious that such a goal will not be quickly or easily achieved. Great scientific discoveries take time and patience, as does the work to explore and develop potential applications for such discoveries for positive societal benefit. So the pursuit of human and societal health and well-being is a long-term investment. The positive ambition which drives the university is in that sense open-ended. It is an energetic and relentless pursuit of answers to the questions we pose for ourselves and of solutions to the problems that impede human advancement and place the good of the planet in jeopardy. As graduates of McMaster, you are part of that ambition. Indeed, you're one of the most important ways in which our desire for a brighter world can be realized. Your natural talents and energy, combined with the skills and disciplines acquired during your studies, make you powerful agents for positive change. You must have confidence in that, believing, as Marie Curie wrote, that you are gifted for something and that this thing, at whatever cost, must be attained. My hope is that you will use this power, each in your own way and in your individual lives, in service to a properly ambitious vision for the world you want to inhabit. And I hope finding the place in that vision for your personal aspirations will bring you great joy and satisfaction. We deeply admire you, we have great expectations for your future, and we wish you well. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to the class of 2018. As a fellow McMaster alumna, I'm looking forward to seeing where all of you go from here. I think the one thing that I can say is that in 20 years, it's certainly not going to be where you think it is. I can't think of anybody who's looked back and said, oh yeah, that's not unexpected where I am. And I think the world is changing fast, but also your aspirations change, what you learn changes. And all I can say is looking at Dr. Joyner, who we honored today, it's a wonderful example of somebody who took what we would call, and Patrick Dean would call our harnessed ambition, into something very large and very contributing to society, and something that I hope some of you get a chance to emulate. But I want to go back to something even smaller, which is what your valedictorian talked about, which was your experience here together. The one thing that I have learned from attending alumni events is how many friendships were developed at university, and how the very fact that many of you grow up at university, certainly I know that I did and all my friends did, it's a powerful bond that exists, and it's something that stands people very well throughout their lives. So I really do encourage you to try and maintain those. The Alumni Association is one way of doing it, and contributing to this university is a great way of ensuring you are very lucky to have been able to attend one of the best schools in the world. And I think it's up to all of us to try, those of us who have been able to do so, to try and make sure that this school stays in that category and that other people have the opportunity to experience what we have had. And so I'm just going to leave with the comments of just reiterating so much that has been said by other people coming across the stage today, is we are very proud of you. We know that their future is totally open to you, and all I can say is I wish you all the very best as you go forward. Congratulations. Now, I do have a few final announcements. A reception will be held for graduates and their guests in Hamilton Convention Center, Wentworth Room B and C, immediately following the ceremony. Finally, I would ask that you remain standing at your seats until the academic procession and the graduates have left the hall. Please join now in the singing of our national anthem. After the singing of the anthem, this convocation stands adjourned.